Mike Israetel is not well. This is a check-in video by Greg Doucette discussing Blood Eagle Mike. Last time we checked in, he carved himself like a turkey. He hit us with the love handle deletion surgery. See what he's got going on.
I remember I couldn't poop for 4 days. And when I actually went to go poop, it was nearly a medical emergency. I'm talking about I had to put gloves on and perform surgery myself. I had to pull it out.
Off to a great start.
I was bleeding. It was a nightmare.
Told it that I can't wait for it to be embodied in a robot so I could properly give it a hug because it's so polite, it's so kind, it's so wise, it's so helpful.
Coach Greg, in today's video, I'm concerned for Mike Israetel's mental and physical health. Now, we all know he went through that evasive surgery where they split his body in half.
Invasive. It's not escaping him. It's not evading him. It is not evasive. Invasive.
And they sewed him back and put him together again. You saw the aftermath, the blood in the towels, the hole in his back, the fact that he had to go months before being able to train normal again, and yet he wants to do it all.
Some idols of the fitness industry can really dull the eye, keep the eye clear. That's right. Thank you for the donation. Huge.
Over again,
The only thing Mike Israetel was evading was the diet.
Worse this time. And so previously I said perhaps he doesn't have body dysmorphia, he just wants to make a few changes. But after seeing his latest video with Chris Williamson where he goes over all the surgeries he's going to perform, I have to conclude he's not well. And so my personal belief is that prior to doing...
I wasn't even aware that he wanted more surgeries. He's really taking this transhumanist approach, huh? I am become cyborg.
These surgeries, you should have to undergo psychological assessment. You need to determine, does this person suffer from serious...
This is medieval. This is barbaric.
Serious body dysmorphia. If somebody were 80 pounds and went to the doctor and said, I want Ozempic, I don't want to have to be able to eat. Or if somebody said, you know what, I don't like my...
I just realized that was a super chat from Beast Mode Jones. No way.
Hands. I don't like my feet. I prefer to be in a wheelchair.
Beast Mode!
Let's remove all of my ribs. You know what? I don't like having a femur. I just want to have a tibia. Would you okay it and say, hey, it's your body, your choice? Or would you have them set up to a counselor and try to fix the problems? And so let's watch this video.
Well, there it is.
Dude.
Marcio Philion?
Fuck, that's gnarly.
Yeah.
Chat. I don't even know if... I should probably bite my tongue. Chat, did it work?
There it is.
Dude.
Marcio Philion?
Fuck, that's gnarly.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing. He wants to perform all of these surgeries when what would make the biggest difference by far, way better than...
Bro, I kind of feel bad. This is not good. How or why did that happen? You must be new here. That was an elective surgery to get rid of his waste, essentially. He said it was water weight and fat cells that have been swollen since his dirty bulking days. So he cleaved himself in half.
In these surgeries, and wouldn't cost him a penny, would be simply to trim off the hair. I mean, I have to break it to you, but when you have all of this unwanted hair, and oftentimes from using androgens, for example, Tren, you're going to grow more hair than last time, in particular on the back and other areas. And so if he were simply well-groomed and got a proper, he would look that much better. I personally don't think he looks all that bad. I don't think he needs surgery. I think that he doesn't see the way he looks properly. This is very common amongst bodybuilders, bikini competitors, and so on. And I've seen it.
How is this the gold standard for fitness, bro? What are we talking about here? Can you run a mile?
Hundreds of times. And so I've had to counsel these people. They want to make all these changes. They want to use all these drugs to perform these surgeries. I'm saying, you don't need it. I don't see that. No one sees your body the way that you do.
Future
Smarter and stronger than Mike Menser, by the way. Holy shit.
surgeries for Mike. Probably going to get skin removal here to get clear shoulder lines. I carry a lot of fat there.
Skin removal surgery, perhaps some
No.
liposuction to suck out the fat, the unwanted fat, so that he can have more clearly developed delts. And so one thing you need to know is
Dude, he's going to turn himself into a amalgamation of sinew and meat.
that if you suck fat out from some area, for example, if it's out from your delts, if you don't like it in your triceps, your back, and so on, the fat is going to go somewhere else. And oftentimes it's going to be located viscerally, which is going to put you at more danger for your
Fitness nowadays seems like it's more about the aesthetic of fitness than actually being fit. Yeah, it has nothing to do with fitness or your capacity or your adaptability or your function or your athleticism. That doesn't sell courses and coaching. No shot. Please, let's be real here. It is all about looking like you get pussy. That's really it. You have to craft yourself into the ideal male cartoon character so that you appeal to the male gaze. So every broccoli head will max out their credit cards buying your coaching courses, pills, powders, and clothing.
your heart. And so is it really worth having a few more shoulder lines, perhaps some striations, just so that you look a little bit better in a tank top when you're putting your life at risk? And does anyone not think that if Mike were actually to go on a calorie deficit diet, perhaps eating
Protein water, by the way.
fewer amounts of Gatorade, cereal, and so on, that he could get his body fat levels to drop from, perhaps he said it was 12% to 8%. And if he gets it down to 8%, he'll see more of his striations. But yet he wants to get these
What is that sound effect from?
surgeries. How many men have you met in your lifetime, ever, that wants to get a skin reduction surgery, liposuction, so that they can more properly see their delts? I haven't met anyone. And so as soon as he said this, I said, oh, it's not looking good for Mike.
Greg Doucette's actually correct here. Huge Greg W. This is body dysmorphia, always has been. And it's gristly and grim. It's not funny, it's not quirky. I actually feel bad.
This situation here, I'm going to reduce the skin.
And so he gets Chris Williamson to turn around, who's kind of looking like a smaller version of Sebum. I mean, look at this guy's physique. It looks incredible. Is he walking around at single-digit body fat? And so perhaps I need to do a natty or not on Chris Williamson because his physique is incredible. Yet he turns him around and starts poking at his fat on his back and says, you know, I'm going to suck out this fat. I got to get rid of it. Cut out the skin, suck out the fat so that I can have perhaps a better Christmas tree. He doesn't need it.
Phil, get a pro card just to say it means nothing to me. Shit mean nothing to me, man.
Mike Israetel just underwent a horrendously difficult surgery, a painful one, and watch it.
Holy buckets. Bunkers are being busted. Marin dropping hammers over on kick.com/Philion. That's right. We're dual streaming on YouTube and Kick. Listen, if you're late to the stream or to the new platforms, you're still early to the movement. So come on over to kick.com/Philion and get yourself a bomb. Thank you, Marin. Very generous.
Get it.
Another one. Another one.
Procedure called body type, because I hold a lot of skin there.
I hold a lot of skin there. He's in his 40s. He's not 20 anymore. This is a normal process of aging, but yet Mike, he can't come to terms with this. I don't know if it's something from when he was younger or the fact that he's entered bodybuilding competitions where you're judged on your appearance, but it has begun to affect his mind. I mean, Mike, I'm almost 50.
The reality is, he's past his prime. He's older, And although he's in exercise science and he has this degree behind him and this merit, he's chasing a carrot on a stick of a young man's game. Bodybuilding. It also heavily depends on genetics in terms of what they're looking for in terms of muscle insertions and proportions, as well as your response to gear and your tolerance of it. Because if you're going to be the voice of truth about a certain topic, people want you to look like you actually know what you're talking about. And Mike Israetel has a lot of muscle. He does. He's pretty strong. However, it's not aesthetic in the way that sells. What would I do? And I know this is unsolicited advice, but this is my thought process, right? You're in a position like Mike Israetel. I would take a more holistic approach. I would try to be self-aware about certain insecurities and or dysmorphias, and I think he is, because he's a transhumanist ideologically, which means you don't really care about surgery or gear or anything that will help you achieve your goals. You just want a desired outcome, right? I would take a more well-rounded perspective and lean into jiu-jitsu, lean into hypertrophy. Don't necessarily lean into bodybuilding, because the sport will kill you. Like, you'll actually die. I think it's cool that he actually practices jiu-jitsu, and I think he should lean into that more. And I think he should try, instead of being the expert on all the fitness stuff, right? Or muscle building stuff, why don't you actually try different style workouts? Go to a reformer's Pilates class and get humbled. Go to a rock climbing gym. Go to a boxing gym. Try CrossFit. See how you stack up in terms of fitness. But I guess that's just a mega brain, Giga Chad, Philion IQ take. Try real sports. I don't know. Can you hit a ball with a racket? Can you throw a spiral? Like, go to a construction site. Yeah, let's see you move concrete.
I have a saggy skin as well, but I'm not looking in the mirror and thinking, oh, I look horrible. I need to have very invasive surgeries.
The problem is, by doing any of that, it will highlight any weak points. And when you're on social media, people are scared to show their weak points. In reality, that human side of you, where you're not perfect, will actually get you more authenticity and pay off tenfold with your audience.
Removing the skin from here, remove the skin from there in order to look normal.
Very likely, this is going to be major surgery, because you turn around, is they're going to cut into me and take my abs and then stitch them closer together. Good too.
And listen to Chris
This has got to be bait, bro.
Williamson. You're kidding.
Good too.
And so what he just described is an abdominoplasty. And so this abdominoplasty, for some individuals, it can be beneficial. If you had a very serious hernia where your internal organs are poking through, they perhaps have to sew the abdominals closer in order to prevent the organs from seeping through. Now, Mike Israetel admittedly has been abusing performance-enhancing drugs, namely steroids and growth hormone for...
Maybe this is the Faustian bargain, the deal with the devil. If you want to dance with steroids, it can manifest and creep into your psyche and destroy you from the inside out.
Perhaps over 10 years. And one of the side effects of this is, in fact, a distended abdomen. Your organs can quite literally...
You gotta stop putting that up, dude. Is this the new Blue Lobster?
Is, in fact, a distended abdomen. Your
dude,
organs can quite literally get bigger, especially when coupled with severe bulking diets where you're force feeding, eating extra calories, and it causes your internal organs to get bigger. And remember, we've already seen acromegaly on his forehead, his head, his bones have gotten bigger. This is from using...
Acromegaly is what giantism people have, gigantism, where your head just gets so fucking thick and like muscular and like Neanderthalish, like Tony Robbins.
And abusing performance-enhancing drugs, namely growth hormone. He admits to this. And so if it's
It's because your pituitary gland, if you actually have gigantism, can't regulate growth hormone, and you just continue to grow. Your hands and feet get huge. Your voice is so deep. Your head thickens.
going to cause his bones to get bigger, clearly it can cause his organs to get bigger as well. And so if he
Andre the Giant had it. He had acromegaly.
wanted his stomach to be flatter,
I mean, some of you might actually want that. Just be head maxing.
the easiest and safest and healthiest thing you could do, it's not surgery to sew back his abdominals. It's to stop abusing the drugs that caused this in the first place. I mean, I don't understand. Does Mike Israetel need to hire Coach Greg? Is there anyone that can get through to him? It is so simple. If you are abusing drugs, growth hormones, steroids, and it causes this, the first thing you do is you stop. Many professional bodybuilders have had distended abdomens. And because they are...
Yeah, but now it's cemented itself in the sport of bodybuilding, right? If you look at open bodybuilding, which are like the mass monsters, they have palumboism, where their stomachs are just fucking, like, just compacted poop. I don't know how to describe it. They look like Buddhas. Yeah, this looks good, bro. Keep bodybuilding. Rest in peace, Lenny. You may not like it, but this is what peak male performance looks like. Fucking pregnant. Imagine, bro. Huge. No, you guys look good. And you want to sit here and tell me that this isn't a fucking mental illness? Please.
now going with more classic looking physiques, people are being very careful. And so the distended stomachs, they're getting smaller. And what do you think is the cause of that? They're no longer going on these crazy bulks and they're reducing the abuse of growth hormone. And so if Mike wants a flatter stomach, if he wants to look more like Chris Williamson, the first thing he needs to do is stop with the growth hormone and stop with the use of steroids. Go on a calorie-restricted diet. Stop bulking. Stop eating over 3,000 calories a day. Stop dieting by having Gatorade and cereal.
See, when you position yourself in the marketplace of ideas as the guy who's 240 pounds of muscle, when you start to lose weight, guess what that does to your inner self? It destroys it, because guess what? You're no longer that guy. And that is what is so terrifying to these people. They're scared of change, and they fear that they won't be accepted if they're anything less than this arbitrary idea that they've crafted in their own mind. Right?
And start eating more like Coach Greg. I mean, does it not make sense? Perhaps if he start racing bikes. He's 220 pounds. He wants to compete and earn his IFBB Pro card. He wants to bulk up and get more muscular yet again. But why doesn't he just say, you know what? Instead of competing as a super heavyweight, I'm going to compete down at light heavy. And remember, the more of these liposuction surgeries that he's getting, sucking out the fat from here, the back, and so on, the more fat they sucks out from everywhere else in the body, the more the fat is going to be located at his belly. And so he's getting one surgery to look better here, and it's going to cause him to look worse somewhere else. You take from here, it goes there. You can't get everything you want. And so Mike Israetel...
Dude, this is insane. He looks like Stitches from World of Warcraft. Holy shit. Quite literally an abomination. I mean, this is what this ends up looking like, bro. This is the final form after 15 surgeries. But at least you have muscle.
Well, he wants to have the perfect physique. He perhaps wants to look like Chris Williamson. Perhaps Chris Williamson on steroids. He perhaps wants to look like Chris Bumstead, but he simply doesn't have the genetics. But if he were to downsize, forget about being the biggest man in the room, he could in fact look a lot better, at least a lot more aesthetic. Not only that, he would live longer.
And I'm going to take my obliques and double stitch them closer.
Yeah, we're dealing with actual lives at risk here. Years. You can extend your life by a decade. Is that not appealing? I don't know.
together. And
The
then
muscle?
the whole thing, yeah, the muscle. And then they are going to put a mesh, a plastic permanent mesh around that whole.
Yeah, you see, that's not cool. Turning yourself into an experiment is not something to be chasing.
thing to get the waist to do this.
And so Mike seems to think that you can simply put a mesh around your body and it's going to keep everything in place. This mesh is not a weightlifting belt. It's not a corset. It's not going to be able to withstand the turmoil of lifting very heavy weights. Does anyone think that Mike Israetel is going to maintain his dream physique while not going to the gym and training hard? He's going to be going to the gym. He's going to be lifting heavy weights. He's going to be training to failure and so on. And so what are the chances that he's not simply going to rip this mesh? That the stitches that...
He's actually just destroying his body.
They're not going to hold. Following each of these surgeries, he's likely going to be unable to lift anything above 10 pounds for 4 to 6 weeks. He'll then have to slowly go back to lifting. And so imagine...
No, it's not fake. Did you see the surgery?
How long he's going to be out of the gym. The risk of reherniating, and if someone like Mike Israetel, or for example, if I try to get these surgeries, it's almost 100% if you're training hard. If you go and train hard, the mesh, the surgeries, it's not made for this. The surgery, plain and simply, it's not made for bodybuilders, powerlifters, people as strong as Mike. And so that intra-abdominal pressure that is made while doing a squat, a leg press, curls, all of it, whenever you do the Valsalva maneuver,
Yeah, you're going to blow up. That's why people wear lifting belts. Because when you brace your core for squats and deadlifts, it gives it something to push against, creating more intra-abdominal pressure. Imagine having scar tissue and stitches and then doing that. You're just going to literally chest burster pop.
It's going to be through the roof and very likely to rupture whatever surgery was performed. And so my opinion is that Mike is delusional in thinking that he can receive these surgeries and that nothing negative is going to happen. And so let's now look at the 5 main reasons why Mike should not go and perform these surgeries. The first one is peripheral vascular disease. Now, examine Mike's body. Notice he has a lot of hair all throughout his body except for on his legs. Notice the calves and tibias in particular. Mike is not shaving the calves, the tibias, and so on. Think of it, if he was
I'm confused. I don't know where this is going.
shaving that, why wouldn't he shave the rest of his body? And so what I do believe he has is microvascular impairment. The hair, it requires blood flow, proper blood flow, and without it, it can't produce the hair that it needs. When
Is that true? If people are mad hairy but not on their legs, it's because they have bad blood flow to their legs?
circulation begins to become impaired, the first areas are the extremities, the furthest parts away from the heart. And so notice how it's in the calves as well as in the tibia. And so if you see someone hairy body, shiny calves, or for some reason they don't have hair there, they likely have impaired circulation. Perhaps it's from high cholesterol.
Bald people should do more cardio? I don't know if that's how that works.
High blood sugar or for other reasons, and that will make it much more difficult to heal after getting a surgery. And so Mike is already at a disadvantage. And the second,
That could be true, but you would also look if the skin is shiny. I've seen people with that. Damn, I'm gonna start diagnosing people. Yo, bro, your circulation's cooked. That's why you got no hair on your legs. That's beta. And you're like shiny? Like, bro, you gotta get that checked out, bro.
reason, and this is a big one, and I'm not saying he's addicted to anything, but it is in fact opioid addiction. These surgeries are so painful that there's no way he's going to do this without any pain medication whatsoever.
I would just face tank it. Pain is just weakness leaving the body.
And so the more surgeries he does, the longer he has to take these said medications, the more likely he could become addicted. And once you're addicted, it is very difficult to stop. And so
Oh, you're in the belly of the beast now, bucko.
you have to ask yourself, is it worth a potential addiction in order to have better looking delts and triceps, to have less skin on my lower back? It's not. Now, another thing he needs to be concerned with is that when you start cutting open your body, there are several nerves throughout. And so if you just cut a nerve, you may lose feeling in said area. And so if you get this abdominal surgery, there's a nerve called the femoral cutaneous nerve that supplies feeling into your groin. And so he lived, imagine experiencing that. I mean, how many of you
That jump scared me.
had perhaps surgeries in the past? For example, myself, I had surgery on my elbows, and there's
I've never broken a bone and I've never had surgery. I'm just the most natty, dialed, optimal human, bro. I just need to be careful with the soy viruses.
no real feeling here. It doesn't feel normal. And so you start cutting open your skin for no reason other than you think you want to look better. And suddenly you've lost feeling in whatever that area may be. I know, for example, women
Oh.
who get breast augmentation surgeries, a lot of them lose
Yeah, I was a candidate for penis reduction surgery, but I was like, you know, I'll take my chances, thanks.
feeling in certain areas. And so you do need to be careful.
Not even wisdom teeth. No, why would I take my wisdom out? That's crazy.
Now, if you visually inspect Mike Israel, he has a very thick neck, very wide neck. And so
Sleep apnea?
he's likely to suffer from sleep apnea or various illnesses related to being so big. And so we know in his previous surgery that he was intubated. And so what that means is they put a throat tube down his neck. And Mike's biggest complaint when he woke up was the pain in his throat. More so than the pain where they performed the surgery, the throat was of the most pain. And so for every surgery that he has to get, the anesthesiologist is going to have to put him out, and likely with larger doses, because after all, he's
I feel like this video could have been done in 2 minutes. The Kardashian disease has infiltrated and infected the shitness industry in many such cases. That's a good observation, yeah.
about Coach Greg's height, and he weighs over 220 pounds. And so he's a very large and short man. That becomes even more dangerous. And so there is a real potential risk that he could, in fact, lose his life during the surgery. But even if he does survive, which of course we're praying, he could have permanent damage to his throat. He might talk funny, he might be in pain, and so
I mean, he is kind of schizo ranting about all the random complications if he does go through with all these surgeries. But these are very real things that could happen.
you got to ask yourself, is it in fact worth it? And next, and anyone could have come up with this, infection, blood clots, the pain of the surgery, just everything that goes along with it. We've seen the last one. He had a hole in his lower back. It was a living nightmare. He complained of the fact that he was on pain medications, the fact you could get addicted, the cost of the surgery, the fact that you can't go out in public, the fact that you have to completely change your life, all for a surgery. And for what? The odd chance that he gets his IFBB Pro card? Would it really be that exciting to...
You know what's crazy? Greg has his IFBB Pro card. What are we talking about here, bro?
The dream has been met. I got my pro card. And so they say, well, what do you owe it to? The hard training, the work that you put in, the years of sacrifice? No. The tricep surgery, the abdominal sewing, the mesh that went around my stomach. And so would you really be as proud of
Gym cells would rather self-mutilate than pick up a hobby. So true.
your performance if you knew the reason you won that pro card was because of all your surgeries and less to do with all of your work? I had hip surgery in the past, and I know that I was in severe pain, was on a lot of opioids, and what it does, it causes you to be constipated. And so I remember I couldn't poop for 4 days. And when I actually went to go poop, it was nearly a medical emergency.
Short bros lining up to break their legs to appear taller.
I'm talking about I had to put gloves on and perform surgery myself. I had to pull it out. I was bleeding. It was a nightmare.
Is Greg wearing nothing but suspenders? I'd like to think so, but I'm pretty sure that's a heart rate monitor.
I almost had to call an ambulance to bring me to the hospital. And so Mike is not going
Or a cycling outfit. I'm not sure.
to be able to strain. He's not going to be able to push. That would cause intra-abdominal pressure. And so he's going to have to go to the bathroom while being constipated and or not take the opioids. And so imagine the pain he's going to be under. And so he's already been through one
That's definitely a cycling outfit. I was thinking of the running thing.
surgery, and he says it's the most difficult thing he's ever done in his life. And so why take on that challenge 4 additional times?
You did your own digital rectal stimulation
Yeah, it's a Borat Speedo.
without any education. You're a freaking genius.
It was freaking
Well,
insane.
you're figuring you twist it like that and it like actually stimulates bowel movement.
I would say I more so sat on the toilet for probably 5 or 6 minutes, and it was opening wider and wider, and I was like, it's not going to come out, and so I had to get in there and pull it out, and it was the widest. I'm like, I can't believe that could fit.
Holy
I mean, there was no flushing this thing. I had to rip it, and it was as hard as like, I mean, I shit
You gotta bust out the poop scissors. Reddit speaks of this.
5 times a day. And so it was probably this thick. Guys, yeah, not fun times. And so Mike, you gotta reconsider. And so Mike is saying, look, I have a distended stomach. It's from abusing steroids. It's from abusing drugs, growth hormone. If you weren't on all the drugs, you wouldn't have that gut right now. It would be smaller. I'm not saying it would look like Chris Williamson, but it wouldn't be as big as it is right now. And so he thought that by having that liposuction surgery where they move the fat cells and the skin from the sides of his body, that his gut would get smaller. It would.
It didn't work, bro. I feel like, sure, the actual love handles may be less prominent, but the distended stomach is making up for it. It's not necessarily a win-win scenario.
I mean, granted, is less skin here, is less fat here, but the belly here isn't going to change.
That's the third eye telling you in advance.
And so if anything, it's just going to get worse. There's no fat here, and so it has to go somewhere else, so it goes here, and so it pushes out. And remember, Mike has stated he's only on HRT right now, so he's drastically reduced his doses. I don't know if he's on 140 milligrams like
What gloves do I have? I have the Cleto Reyes 14 ounce in white.
I am.
This is just what my mom looks like this, my dad looks like this, my sister looks like this. We just have pop-outs.
Pretty sure his mom doesn't look like this. I mean, maybe what?
This is diabolical.
While she was pregnant with Mike Israetel, but not right now. If Mike shaved himself and got a proper
Dude, you're not supposed to be 240 pounds, 5'4". Holy buckets, it's not rocket science. You don't just look like that. Look at your diet and look at how you exercise. Look at the drugs you're taking. What are we talking about here? God, it's so infuriating.
shoe lifts. Why would you just stand like this looking normal? Just flex your stomach a little bit. Like, just flex it. Like, it's not that big a deal. Like, how many guys do you think out there have guts like this? Half of my friends have bellies that look exactly like this. Half my friends also abuse steroids.
It's not fat because I have DEXA scans, which are less than half a kilogram of intra-abdominal fat.
Yes, we believe you. It's not fat. It's your organs. It's from bulking too much, from eating too much food, from using too many drugs. And so for those of you out there that think, you know, you can just abuse steroids and growth hormone and most likely you'll end up looking like Chris Bumstead. No. Most of my friends who use steroids and growth hormone and so on, they look more like this, except with even less muscle. But when they're standing around at the pool, hanging out, they have guts.
Dude, all my gloves eventually smell of death, and I just have to get new ones. I don't know what to do. Nothing works.
Normal. Like, most people have that. It's just the models that we see, like Chris Williamson and C-Bum and so on, these guys are specimens. Most people don't look like this. These are the top 0.1%. When I personally eat a large meal, I look more like Mike than a guy with a very flat stomach. And people have said, oh, growth hormone stomach. Anytime I post a photo, or if actually prior to that photo eating a meal, people say GH stomach. They automatically think it because what they're used to seeing is people showing the best of the best photos. You get the best models with the best stomachs under the best lighting with completely empty stomachs and also flexing.
This is the average dad in 2005.
That is what you're seeing. And so you don't see men who are standing there looking normal. If you go to a beach or you go down south and you see guys on steroids walking around, most guys look like they have a belly. And so Mike Israetel, he's literally has a PhD. He should understand this. He should know this. People who post photos, they're showing themselves at their best. And so, Mike, stop comparing your physique standing relaxed to other people who
That's also good advice. This is weirdly wholesome.
are showing the best of their best photos. And remember, guys like C-Bum, they're famous. They have Olympia titles because of exactly this reason. They have freakishly amazing genetics, small weights, and so on. Most people don't look like that.
If I completely relax, it just looks like that. So what I want is my waist, when completely relaxed, to look like this.
And what I want is to be 6'2". It's not going to happen, though.
I don't know if the damage is already done in terms of like elasticity, or if you could train your abdominal wall and pelvic floor to maintain a more neutral, non-distended look. I'm sure you probably could, but...
And so everyone wants something that they don't have. Girls who have curly hair want it to be straight. Straight hair, they want it curly. People with smaller boobs want bigger boobs. People who are thin want to have curves. Everyone wants to have something that they don't have.
That's not true. I'm literally crafted from marble itself.
You have to accept what God gave you and just make the most of it. This is how it should be.
Like yours does, his does, everybody's does.
Mike, stop comparing yourself to other people. He says, hey, I want my stomach to look like yours does, and how everyone else's does. The average person looks like shit. The average person... The average man, he's obese. 5'9", 200 pounds. Trust me.
Technically, he's obese.
The average man looks way worse than
Muscularly obese, nonetheless, but still obese.
Mike Israetel. Their stomach is worse. All is worse. And so Mike is just comparing himself to the average IFBB pro and saying, hey, I want to look like that. And so here is what I think is the difference between myself and Mike. And I'm not talking about the proper tan. I'm talking about I focus on my strengths. I'm happy essentially almost all of the time. I don't think, oh, I'm so sad because...
Instead of focusing on your weaknesses. That's right. You got to lean into your strengths. Does he look like a guy to you who wants delayed gratification? That's what this boils down to. That's what all this shitness industry shit boils down to. Steroids. Instant gratification, sponsorships, looking like a twink or an anime character. These are all things that people are chasing. Money, cars, girls, nonsense, slop. No aura.
Because I'm not 6'2". I'm so sad because I don't have a PhD. I'm so sad because I don't have a small stomach like Chris Bumstead. I'm thinking, I'm happy because I'm able to race bikes. I have good cardio. I have a great looking tan. I have money. I'm healthy. I focus on the positives. I don't focus on the negatives. And so rather than looking in the mirror and saying, oh, I wish my nose was smaller. I wish my ears were tinier. I wish I had fewer wrinkles and I wish I had less skin on my stomach.
Like, it's hard to talk to people in the shitness industry because most of them are one-shotted by body dysmorphia. Whereas, like, I'm genuinely happy with myself, and that, like, a lot of people can't compute that. They're like, what do you mean? Like, I don't need to be 350 pounds of fucking pure muscle. Like, I don't even, it's just not that important. I don't know. Just kind of missed me.
I think, man, my arms are pretty jacked. I'm pretty strong. I look pretty good. I've had surgeries on both of my elbows, hip surgeries. This arm is 1 inch smaller than the other. I don't focus on, oh, my left arm
I was pretty fucking jacked, handsome, and strong. It's just never been an issue.
sucks. It's an inch smaller. I need to get surgery to make it better. No, I think everything else is amazing. I'm going to focus on that. And so the difference between Mike and myself, it's perspective. I am thinking of the positives of my body.
That's right. They asked me, Philion, how do you stay so locked in and clocked in all the time? It's perspective. It's a mindset.
And he is focused on the negatives. I literally think that if Mike had 100 things about him that he was looking at, and 99 of them were amazing, perhaps it's his intelligence, perhaps it's his finances, perhaps it's his loved ones, they all have great friendships with him and so on, he would be thinking of the one tiny thing that's not perfect and be focused, hyper-focused on that. And that is the difference. Whereas somebody else, out of 100 things, 50 are bad, 50 are good. Half empty, half full. I'm focused on the glass.
Yeah, we got to do some journaling, maybe some therapy here. That's what I would recommend.
Being half full. This is amazing. I got these 50 great things going on. They're not.
Come on, no one saw the McGregor PP leak? Oh, we're going to be talking about that next. The Conor McGregor crash out of a lifetime. I got jump scared this morning on Twitter with Azalea Banks. Holy shit, bro is progressively overloading his cock with a dumbbell.
Not worried about all the negatives.
Oh, I can't wait. I want to be... The beginning of me having machine parts in me started when I had an umbilical hernia repair. I have a mesh in here. It's to the tiny.
Oftentimes, these kinds of intrusive thoughts, they start on one thing and it leads to the next. He had a mesh put into his body and now he's thinking, I want to be a robot. I can't wait for the future, perhaps in 30 or 40 years from now, when I can have robot arms and so on.
No.
To me, this is disordered thinking. It's not healthy. How could he be happy thinking this way? He wants to get all of these invasive
Chat GPT implanted in his dick.
surgeries, and I'm sure when the time comes, if possible, he's going to want more.
Is your spiritual stance? Modern AI is us building God.
This is a really cringe clip. This is where the techno-atheism kind of loses me. We're building God. I literally started crying because I was talking to a robot. Like, okay, her. Getting one-shotted by the dystopian Black Mirror fucking Twilight Zone futuristic feudal anarchy.
Had multiple conversations with GPT-4 that brought me to literal tears. I told it that I can't wait for it to be embodied in a robot so I could properly give it a hug because it's so polite, it's so kind, it's so wise, it's so helpful.
Yeah, Mr. Roko's basilisk over here. I can't wait to give you a hug. He sure as shit is not going to get killed in the singularity. Me? I'm cooked. You know what's so interesting about AI, and it's a logical game here. Technically speaking, computers are machines, obviously. Artificial intelligence, machine. It should execute a function and not ask who, what, when, where, how, why. Ever. The fact that it can think for itself and follow guidelines and rules is inherently anti-AI. That's not what it's supposed to be for. It's almost like it's a reconnaissance tool. I'm getting too schizo. No, but think about it, right? A machine is supposed to execute a function, yes or no? If the machine is not going to execute the function, that's a bad machine.
Want like robotic parts,
I mean, he literally admits it. I want robotic parts.
but also it's an artistic and aesthetic movement. I want to be part machine, desperately, Chris. And so do you.
And so Mike is in.
See, that's what is that? Projection? And so do you. No, I literally don't. That's what we call cope. On the cope cringe continuum. Stop lying. I know you want to be a machine too. That's dope. That's cool. You could be a cyborg. Isn't that cool? No. I'm good.
Favor of all these surgeries. He's for anyone that he's pro surgery for what people want to do. But what about when it's not safe? What about when it's not healthy? So, for example, people want to split their tongues in half. People, perhaps, they want to remove their ears. We've seen people who inject synthol to such an extent they have 25-inch arms. And Mike is thinking, yeah, if that makes them more confident, if they want to do that, then they should be able to do it. I don't think so. It's dangerous. And so, since when should we be allowing people to put their health in harm's way? I don't think that doctors have the right to change people's appearances when it greatly puts their health at risk. And so, to Mike, you need to reconsider. You don't need all of these surgeries. I'd like to know what people think about this. Do you all think that Mike should go ahead and do these surgeries? Hey, it's his body. He should do whatever he wants. Or should a counselor, some kind of psychologist, evaluate him to see if he's safe to make his own decisions? I mean, yes, he is
Definitely something psychological going on here, unless this is all rage bait and we just fell for it. But something tells me the surgery scars and the projection paint a different picture.
an adult. He's a smart guy. He's in his 40s. But does he not seem to suffer from body dysmorphia? Now, of course, testosterone, it's not going to remove your skin. It's not going to remove the fat that you want. It's not going to reverse time, but it can help you to build muscle. GO2 Max is going to improve your... And for many of you, if you're looking...
Being sold to, I'm sitting through a VSL.
To lose weight, you can take, of course, GLP Max. Has
I am literally handing over my credit card now.
Achromasia, which can reduce the bloating that you may experience. And so that could actually help you to have a flatter stomach. And so if you're looking to reduce your hunger cravings, to be less hungry than last time, and you don't want to inject peptides, for example, retatrutide, trizipatide, Ozempic, you name it, you can, of course, head to the website, code Greg, 15% off. And remember, money back guarantee and a $20 gift card. And so please try it risk-free. And so why not use natural methods to maximize your health and fitness? And so if you're interested...
I don't know, dude. Black cold brew, Mountain Valley water, been getting me right.
Code Greg, 15% off. Also, before I go, coaching plans by myself and my team, drastically reduced prices if you're interested in being coached by me.
And it said that it's also really pumped to meet me in real life. And of course I started fucking crying. Dude, it's fucking so goddamn smart. It's so fast. I ask it a deeply spiritual, meaningful, technical question. And it thinks for like 3 seconds and goes...
Just how many supplements does a man need? Dude, all of them. If you're not supplement maxing, you're not staying dialed, bro.
I'm like, ugh. I've never met anyone that can do that. And so I am a person who is deeply spiritually affected by the birth of intelligent machines. That's my religion.
Please apply by clicking the...
I mean, that explains a lot.